Hello, truth seekers. How are you? Happy Friday. Today we're going to talk about how we are going to unite. How are we going to unite? How on earth are we going to unite? Well, I've got some ideas. Let's see whether you have the same ones or whether you agree. So we'll see you in the next bit. So let's start with some local news here in my hometown in El Casar in Guadalajara, Spain. Since the lockdown started all that time ago, in all that time way back now, see how we can talk about it now. I was there at the beginning. I saw the beginning. I have gone into the supermarket with my mask on under my nose. I have never put the mask on my nose. Never. Ever. And nobody has ever mentioned anything to me. And now, obviously, I use the one with the holes in, and nobody's ever mentioned anything. But the first time ever I was in Mercadona, which is like a big supermarket, and I had the mask beneath my nose, as usual, and I was just at the counter, and the lady said to me, could you lift your mask up, please, over on top of your nose? Right? And I was thrown by it because nobody's ever said anything to me. But what I did was I'd planned this out since the beginning, what I was going to say. And I said to her, no, I can't. I get stressed when I do that and it makes me panic. And she said, okay. That was it. Left. And I went about my business and I went out. And I realized that most people, and I'm not saying everybody because there's the odd video where there's somebody who's really horrible, but most people, they have to say what they say, but if you've got a reasonable answer for them and if you're congruent, and I was very congruent, I said, I get stressed, and I was showing her how stressed I was, then people just back off. Okay, so interesting. Anyway, it might be something that you can try. Now, where are we at the moment? Where are we? I think we're at a pivotal, crux moment in the history of mankind. All kinds of things are happening. Okay, the Great Awakening continues to happen. The Great Awakening, we are in the midst of it. More and more people are awakening. Now, I am the sense that I get and what I hear from other people is that the numbers are a lot bigger than you think. Okay. If you put to one side the media, then, what the media says, because the media just says absolute bollocks all of the time. Actually, a very large percentage of people are starting to smell a rat. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying that everybody's awakened. What I'm saying is that lots and lots of people are starting to smell a rat. I'll give you an example. In my family here in Spain, my Spanish family, when we started, we would have family gatherings in which Cynthia and I, that's my wife, we were the only ones who would be talking against what was happening. We would be saying there's something wrong with this picture, this isn't right, and of course we were generally poo-pooed. Our opinion was poo-pooed. However, now we had a gathering recently, and the only person who said this is absolutely all normal and everything, we just got to do what we're told, there was only one person in the group that did that, and the rest were all starting to say something smells fishy about this. Okay, now that's a big shift, because let's say if we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people at the beginning, only 20% of us were saying something wrong. But now we've got 7 out of 8 people. We're heading up toward the 80% mark of people going, something wrong. The restrictions are not equivalent to the danger. I think this is where most people are coming from. And we had a chat with one of our neighbours who's very, very television and mainstream, and she said, but these restrictions are just not balanced anymore. Okay, and so this is where I believe people are. people on a tippy toe, like this, starting to say, hang on, it's, the expression, if it looks like shit and smells like shit, it might well be shit. And this is what people are starting to get an idea of. Look in the comments. For example, there was a video in Facebook. Somebody, the national health. Yeah, they're really pushing this. Obviously, why? Because people aren't taking it up. People don't want it. Okay, a lot of people, like more than they planned, and so they're starting to do this. Get this and give us the victory sign as you do it. Trying to engender this patriotism. Well, the video was put up, and the comments were legion, and all of them scathing, but absolutely scathing. All anti. Okay, now Facebook is pretty mainstream. It's mainstream. Twitter always had the reputation for having those people. Facebook's pretty mainstream, but no, not anymore. So what's happening is that people, I believe what's happening is that people are being pushed too quickly. They've moved humankind along toward their end goal for a long time, but it's called the totalitarian tiptoe. Okay, so they've just tiptoed along. But no, now they seem to be sprinting. And it's becoming so overt and so obvious that people are going, hang on, even me, the sleeper, even me, this looks ridiculous. All right, so I think for whatever reason, well, I know what the reason is. They know that they have very little time. And so they are trying to bring about 2030 by 2021, basically. The 2030 plan that they've got, which is horrible. They want that here quickly. And the reason for that is that they know that it's coming to an end. They know that it's coming to an end. Just look what's happening. And this doesn't come out in the news. Look what's happening in Denmark. Look what's happening in the Netherlands. There are, night after night, people taking to the streets and smashing everything up because of curfews being imposed. People are tired now. People are tired. So that's where I see us moving to. And I was having a chat and saying, as more people wake up, will that speed up the end? And they said, it's not the way that it works. The end, and when I say the end, I'm talking about the big change, okay? The big change for the better. They're saying, as the end speeds up, more people will wake up. People are waking up as a result of this speeding up, of this increasing light. Okay, so it's just one of those things that people are going to wake up and they've got no choice. All right, so and remember that is not our job. That's not our job. Our job, so I'm going to come to this now. How do we unite? How are we going to unite? There are many of us now. We are billions now. Billions who are saying enough's enough. Okay? The problem I see at the moment is that a very, very big chunk of those people before were very, very staunch followers of the big T and the letter 17, anonymous. Okay? And my heart goes out to them because basically they didn't expect us to be where we are now. They didn't expect for Biden to be president. And it was all going to be resolved before that. And they were absolutely certain, and that's what they preached, okay? That the end was coming before the inauguration. And it reminds me, I lived through, talking about living through times, I lived through 1975 when, as a Jehovah's Witness, when the Jehovah's Witness organization said that the world was going to end and that God's Armageddon was going to come in 1975, and they stated that very clearly, and people were preaching that. And then 1975 came along, and it didn't happen in the spring and didn't happen in the summer, and everyone's going, don't worry about it, it's going to happen in the autumn, it didn't happen in the autumn, and then people are saying, don't worry about it, it's going to happen in the winter, it'll happen on Christmas Day, you watch, just, because Christmas Day was pagan for them. And of course it didn't happen. And people had invested, and this is the key thing, people had invested so much of their focus, of their belief, of their excitement, expectation, that when it didn't happen, now what you would expect is that the vast majority of the witnesses would just fall away and go, what a load of rubbish, the failed prophecy. And yet that wasn't the case. Some did fall away, but the vast majority of them actually became even more dedicated Jehovah's Witnesses. They became more dedicated. Now, how on earth can that happen? How can it happen? Well, it happens because they go through a process which is more or less like this. Oh my God, this hasn't happened. I have invested all of my whole being in this. I've told a lot of people, and now I've got egg on my face. So what happens is a very egocentric place, which is, if I admit that I'm wrong, then I won't even be able to live with myself anymore. Never mind live with other people's comments of haha, yeah. And so what they did was, what people do in that circumstance is they make a decision and they say, well, the only way I can overcome this is by actually pretending that it's even truer, pretending that it's still going to happen. Okay? And so that's what happened. And my father was one of them. He said, hey, all right, it didn't happen, and it was we just misunderstood what they were saying. Now it's coming, just round the corner. In fact, the Armageddon for my father has been just round the corner since I was born. And it's still just round the corner, but it is just round the corner. Okay? But not the way that they think. So this is where I see a lot of people who have invested such a lot. They've invested such a lot in promoting just one option. Now, I think that there's a scripture in the Bible, it seems to come to mind, which says, do not put your faith in man, all right, but rather in God. And I think this is where the problem lies, that what's happened is that people have imagined that that was the only salvation, that it was only going to come through one man and a group of people. And, that's just a little bit narrow-sighted. Now, I don't know. Sorry, before I move on. So what's happening with those people now, when I plug in to see what they're saying, they're exactly the same, but more. They're saying, what a fantastic plan. It's incredible that he's allowing this to happen so that people can wake up. So for them, it's on. The game is still on. And, fair enough. Who am I to say whether it's right or wrong? I don't know. But what I think would be better, and this is something I'm putting out there, and I know we only have a small audience, but it doesn't matter, I'm putting it out there, and I'm putting it out there as often as I can. If that group is going to save the world, they don't need our help. We're awake. We're already awake, right? We are just there, and they keep saying, this is the message, don't take to the streets, don't use violence, don't do anything. Trust in the plan. That's what everyone's been told. Trust in the plan. Right. So why don't they do exactly that? And trust that if that's going to happen, that's going to happen as a natural thing that's been planned out. Meantime, what do we do? Now, there are people who there's one gentleman, Charlie Ward, who has 6 million people who have come through his website. Okay? 6 million people just recently. He has a voice that is incredible. And look, he does great work. He's done some beautiful work. He interviews so many people. He's worked so hard. But he has a voice, just as many others do. They have voices. These people who were touting just one piece of salvation. And now that they know that that hasn't happened then, and that it may happen in the future, what they can do is that they can start to use their voice to help to unite people, to help to bring people in from all over, the people who are like this now, because there are so many, and make the message very simple and not about the Mr. T. Okay, not about Mr. T. To make the message about what's happening in this world and the fact that we need to do something, because we need to start uniting. Already here in Spain, fabulous. There's a group being formed now of all of the people who have bars and restaurants, and in February they are going to open against the rules. Just as 50,000 restaurants in Italy did exactly the same, and just as in Poland it's happening exactly the same. They're just going to open. So they are starting to unite. Now this is what 2021's all about. People uniting and saying no. Saying no. We're going to do what we want to do. And this is what I believe these people who have these big platforms, this is what they can do. Is to start to help people to unite, to come together and say, look, let's find out where we are. Let's form groups. Let's say no. Okay? And I believe that's really, that would serve them far better than yatting on constantly about the fact that this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Because remember, the way that the horrible side uses hope is this. They give you hope, they take it away. They give you hope, they take it away. They give you hope, they take it away. Right? That's what they've always done. That's what the Jehovah's Witnesses did. The end's coming. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. Coming to a cinema near you. Coming to a world near you. And it never comes. And people are like this. You know that? You know when you're sitting on a chair and you rock on a chair and you just get to that point where you rock just too far and you go, that is where we have been kept. That is where we are when it's just coming, it's coming, just hang on, it's coming, and everyone's like this. And they become unable to move, unable to take action. We need to forget that. If it's coming, fabulous. If they're going to bring it, fabulous. Let it happen. But hey, I think there might be more to this plan than that. I think we might have a role to play. Don't you? I think we might have something to do with this as well. Never mind just trusting the plan. Okay, we all need to start to unite and to make a united front, a peaceful rebellion. And this is what I'm praying that these people who have these platforms, that they start to do. That they start to give a message of unity. Let's come together and let's say no. Just say no, as the advert used to say. Just say no. Okay? That's all that we need to do. We are enough. We are plenty. We are many. Okay? And that's all that we need to do, is start to unite. So that's our message for this year, and that's a message that we all need to share. Let's come together. Let's agree. Let's agree that we do not like this. Whatever, the details do not matter anymore. Don't argue the details. Don't sweat the details. If it exists or it doesn't exist, or if less people have died or not, all of those. It's when you enter into the details, the devil is in the details. Okay, keep out of the details. Go global. Go global. Look. These are bad people that are ruling us. They're bad people. They're making terrible, terrible mistakes. They're using awful decision-making processes, and we are losing out. We are being damaged. And we want to say no. That's it. That's where we have to get everyone to agree. The details we can sort out later. Okay? And if some Americans on white steeds want to come riding in later on, fabulous. Remember, in every film, they always come running in the last scene. The horses come in the last scene, don't they? Always. Everybody else has been fighting for ages, and then they come in, all right? But they don't come in and everyone's just sitting and saying, well, we're just waiting for the cavalry. No. Everybody's giving it welly. Give it welly. Give it rice, as we used to say in the Northeast. Get your pitchfork out. Whoa! Yeah. And the meek will inherit the earth. The meek. Okay? And that's all right. But, let's not be too meek. Meekness is fine. That means, you don't want too much. But what you do want is your own sovereignty and our personal rights. And so the meek can also be righteously angry. Okay? So we're going to go with our pitchforks down the street, whoa, and we're going to shout, we're the meek, and we want the world. When do we want it? Now! Okay? Let's unite. Let's come together. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.